I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. It's Saturday, so time for one of my mindset, positive affirmation, motivational blogs, the ones that I really enjoy doing the most, trying to impart kind of that optimistic mindset you need to have if you want success in anything in life, whether that's your career or learning how to play the guitar or your relationships or marriage or whatever. So, I want to stress too on how important it is to have a game plan. When you're on your road to financial success, saving for retirement, you want to buy your principal residence, you want to stop renting, you've got to get a game plan together. And that game plan is going to take some time to put together before you're going to see any results with it. Success takes time. I'll give you an example. I just had a company, an analytics company, reach out to me, and I guess probably another 100 or so realtors or more. And they had been tracking through the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board the number of sales that our realtors do. The board tracks all that. We have what we call Medallion Club status, which is top 10% of realtors, and then all the way up to President's Club, which is the top 1%. But they've been tracking this, and they contacted me because, I had in fairly quick order back 3-4 years ago, I achieved, 3 years ago, a Medallion Club status, top 10%. But in the last few years, I've moved up the ranks fairly quickly to getting now into the top 1 or 2%, which is a pretty big jump when you consider there's 14,000 realtors on the board. So they wanted to know, what the secrets were, or what are you doing to move up the ranks? And, I didn't have a lot of time to talk with them, to be honest with it, but I did say that this didn't come overnight for me, just like achieving my crossover point and being able to live off my passive income back 10 years ago. I talk about it in my book. They act like it's an overnight sensation thing, and it's not. What has got me where I am today, as far as the number of sales I'm doing and dollar volume and top producer at my brokerage, etc. This has all been the previous 5 or 6 years of grinding it out to get me to this point. What I mean by grinding it out is just putting the work in day after day, getting up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, working 10, 11-hour days. I enjoy it. That's the big thing. I'm in a career that I enjoy, buying and selling real estate and learning about the business. But this has taken 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years before I really even started seeing a lot of success or a lot of results. And, I want people to understand that there is no shortcut. I've talked about this many times. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. Contrary to what you'll see on these ads that play on my YouTube channel. I think most people just laugh at those, and you should. These get-rich things that you see that are, they pay me and YouTube for me to advertise on sites like mine. But, they make it sound like you're going to be making 150, 200,000 in a few short weeks by selling stuff online, and it's not going to work. There is no shortcut. If it was, they would be working that angle. Why would they be teaching you how to do it? But, there is no shortcut to this. You've got to put the time in, and that's why I've talked many times about the Tim Ferriss blog and how he interviews these very successful business people and athletes. And you'll find they all have a lot of common traits. They put in the work, they're very regimented in their routines, and they realize that they're not going to see results right away. That's what kills most people. They start in on something, maybe that's saving for the down payment on a house, or saving for retirement, or starting a new career in sales, let's say. And after 6 months or a year, they get frustrated. They're not seeing results, which is pretty typical. It takes time, and they quit. They give up. So stay the course. You've got to have a plan, and you'll find that all successful people, whatever business they're in, they've all had a plan, and I think they'll tell you that they did not see success in the early years. When I started saving and investing my money in the stock market, you don't see very much in the first 3 or 4 years. You put away $300 or $400 a month back then is what I was saving. The portfolio inches up. But as Warren Buffett talks about a lot about the eighth wonder of the world, compounding. And, he'd often talk, making your first $1 million, and a lot of people will say this, is the grind. That's the tough part. But making your second million is far, far easier and far quicker. Making your next million after that is even easier and quicker. And, you'll find that with just about everything. The law of compounding takes a lot of years grinding it out. You don't see results, but you've got to stay the course. That's what life is. Save to buy your house. And I get so many great stories about people that will say, I was a bit pessimistic, I was renting, I started watching your blogs, read your book, I buckled down, started saving my money, bought my first condo out in New Westminster for $350K, and I've never looked back. I've been in the market now for a few years. I'm building up equity. I'm not throwing my money away on rent, and it feels good. It's kind of changed their entire outlook, and that's what home ownership will do. A lot of people don't talk about this, the intangibles of home ownership. The stability, the pride of ownership, the fact that for every $1,000 payment you're making, $700 of that is paying off the principal. You're paying down the debt. And then over time, you're going to get appreciation on it. It really changes your whole outlook on life. I wouldn't really know too much because I've never rented a day in my life. I would find that to be horrific. I would just find sending that check to my landlord, it would bother me. But you have to rent in the short term. Most people do anyways. But on your priority list should be getting into home ownership. That's always your first step on the road to financial freedom. Take advantage of the principal residence exemption, and it certainly beats renting. As I say, the Tina effect is in full effect here. There is no magic utopia as opposed to owning. If you're not owning, you're renting, and that's not a fun place to be long term. It's fine in the short term while you're saving for your down payment. But once you're in, you've crossed a huge financial hurdle in life, as I've often said. And your outlook on life changes. I've had so many people tell me that, and I know. When I bought my first home, my first condo, when I was 19, 18 years old, I tell you, it was a special day. And it gets better as you go along. Owning assets, collecting rent checks, buying quality companies and collecting the dividends. But it's a really slow, methodical process. And that's what kills most people. They give up, they quit. And just stay the course and good things will happen. Buy your principal residence, pay it down, keep it, keep saving your money, index invest your RSPs and TFSAs. When you get to my age or get into your mid 40s is where I really started to notice it. Life turns pretty sweet then. Now you've got your first house pretty much paid off, depending on when you bought it. You've got cash flows coming in from your investments, from your RSP holdings and your TFSA holdings. You're reinvesting those dividends into more shares. But it's a not a get rich quick scheme. Unfortunately, I saw an interesting quote, that said, pessimists and being pessimistic gets all the attention, but optimists make the money. And that is so true, because there's going to be all kinds of pessimism, dark clouds along the way, both in real estate and investing for retirement. But ignore it, tune it out, focus on you, that I've often said, getting better at your career, moving up the pay scale, setting aside paying yourself first every month, and putting that money to work. It's going to take time, but you have to believe me on this. Remember, this isn't theory. This is practical stuff that I've been preaching here on my blog. This is stuff that I've been doing for over 30 years. And I can guarantee it works 100% because I learned from the best. Works just as good now as it did when I started, maybe better, with all the information and the low fees on investing now that I didn't have. But you're not going to see results right away. Just like you aren't in your career, or me starting my YouTube channel, or me moving up the ranks in the real estate board. You just put the work in, enjoy it, enjoy the ride, enjoy the process. That's what I was always taught. Try and get a little better every day. Don't worry if you get a few setbacks along the way. You should. Learn from your mistakes. But if you try and just keep working and getting into a routine, staying consistent, you'll get the results. Won't come overnight, but they'll be there for you. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.